Reproductive life planning includes all the decisions an individual or couple make about whether and when to have children, how many children to have, and how they are spaced. So, in other words, reproductive life planning is a format when men and women think about their desire related to having or not having children. Others want information on increasing fertility and about the ability to conceive. When we talk about increasing fertility, taking an antioxidant supplement or eating antioxidant food can improve fertility rates, especially among men with infertility. Some studies suggest that eating more calories at breakfast and fewer at your evening meal can improve fertility.
Number of 2020 National Health Goals speak directly to reproductive life planning. Increase the proportion of adolescents who receive formal instruction of abstinence before 18 years of age from a baseline of 87.2% to a target of 95.9%. Increase the proportion of female than 15 years of age who have sexual intercourse from a baseline of 82.9% to target of 91.2%. If mix from 82% to 90.2%. Reduce the proportion of females experiencing pregnancy despite of use a reversible contraceptives method from a baseline of 14.4%, a target of 9.9%. Increase the proportion of intended pregnancies from a baseline of 51% to target of 56%. Decrease the proportion of birth occurring within 8 months of a previous birth from a baseline of 35.3% to a target of 31.7%. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS 2010. Contraception aims to prevent a pregnancy. A woman can get pregnant if a man's sperm reaches one of her eggs or ova. Birth control, also known as contraception, antiception, and fertility control, is a method or device used to prevent pregnancy. Birth control has been used since ancient times, but effective and safe methods of birth control only became available in the 20th century. 93% of women of childbearing age in the United States use some form of contraception. Major benefits of this increase in the contraception includes decreases in unintended pregnancies, the need for morning after or post-coital medication, and termination of pregnancy. Important things to consider when helping a couple choose a method that will be right for them include personal values, ability to use a method correctly, if the method will affect sexual enjoyment, financial factors, if a couple's relationship is short-term or long-term, prior experiences is short-term or long-term, and future plans. An ideal contraceptive should be safe, effective, compatible with religious and cultural beliefs and personal preferences of the both use and sexual partner, free of bothersome side effects, convenient to use and easily obtainable, affordable and needing few instructional for effective use, free of effects after discontinuation on future pregnancy. These are the types of contraceptives.
Hello everyone, so for today I'm going to discuss another family planning. Another family planning, it is a method also called the absence method, or as the name implies method that involves no introduction of chemical or foreign materials into the body. Many people hold religion beliefs that rule out of the use of birth control pills or devices. Others simply believe a natural way of planning pregnancy that involve no expensive, does not introduce a foreign substances. No risk to a fetus should they become pregnant is the best for them. So, ano nga ba yung tinatawag na natural planning method? Ibig sabihin, yung babae, imomonitor niya yung different fertilities niya or days na makakapagsabi kung kailan siya fertile at kung kailan siya hindi mabubuntis. Effective ito kapag napafollow mo siya ng tama sa pagmamonitor mo ng iyong fertility. At dahil natural family planning siya, wala siyang side effect, chemical effect, and physical side effect di tulad ng ibang pills or hormonal birth control. Again, it is natural family planning method and it is accepted to all faith and culture. Kung sakali naman na gusto mo magtalik during your fertile days, you can be use other birth control. Abstinence pledge means do not have a sexual intercourses until they are married. Tone out not only additional information on contraception but also on safe sex practices. So, dito naman po is 100% effective talaga kasi nga po there are no sexual contact. Hindi talaga kayo magtatalik or magsisek totally. At walang sex na mangyayari hanggat di kayo kasal. So, ibig sabihin, pag ikaw ay purely breastfeeding sa iyong baby, hindi ka mabubuntis pero meron siyang mga consideration. Unang-una, kailangan kayo ay purely breastfeeding, ibig sabihin, walang kahit ano na nagpapadede sa anak mo. Purely breastfeeding lang ang nakukuha ng baby mo. At kailangan safety ang lactation amenorrhea method mo. If ikaw ay under 6 months of, ibig sabihin less than 6 months yung baby mo or within 6 months pa lang si baby mo. Pag ikaw naman ay may period na or may menstruation na, ikaw ay hindi na purely breastfeeding at kapag nagpapadede ka na ng more than 4 hours na or more than 6 hours na, pag ganun, hindi na po safety ang lamp method niyo.
Coitus interruptus or withdrawal is one of the eldest known methods of contraception. The couple proceeds with coitus until the moment of ejaculation. Then the man withdraws and spermatozoa are emitted outside the vagina. In this method, the man will completely remove his penis from the vagina and away from the external genitalia of the female partner before he ejaculates to try to prevent pregnancy. The goal of the withdrawal method, which is also called pulling out, is to keep sperm from entering the vagina of the female. Contraception failure rates for natural family planning: first, abstinence, ideal failure rate 100%, failure rate 85%, advantages acceptable to all religious groups, no cost, disadvantages requires high motivation and periods of abstinence. For lactation amenorrhea, ideal failure rate of 1 to 5% under 6 months, failure rate 95% after 6 months. Advantages effective while an infant is totally breastfeed approved by all religions and cultures. Disadvantages temporary measure not reliable if infant takes supplemental feedings. For calendar, ideal failure rate 1 to 9%, failure rate 25%. Advantages no cost. Disadvantages requires motivation and cooperation. For standard day method cycle beds, ideal failure rate 4 to 5%, failure rate 12 to 13%. Advantages visual aid can improve compliance available as iPhone app. Disadvantages initial cost may need to mark on a calendar they have moved a bed rather than really on a memory. For basal body temperature, ideal failure rate 3%, failure rate 25%. Advantage cost of thermometer. Disadvantage requires motivation and cooperation by male partner. For ovulation method, ideal failure rate 3%, failure rate 25%. Advantage no cost. Disadvantages requires motivation and cooperation by male partner. For the thermal, ideal failure rate 2%, failure rate 25%. Advantage no cost. Disadvantages requires motivation and cooperation from the male partner. For 2-day method, ideal failure rate 3 to 4%, failure rate 13 to 14%. Advantages no cost. Disadvantages requires motivation and cooperation from the male partner. For withdrawal, ideal failure rate of 4%, failure rate 19 to 27%. Advantages a male-controlled method. Disadvantages sperm may be present in pre-ejaculatory fluid.
Type of contraceptive. Ideal failure rate, perfect use, failure rate, typical use, advantages and disadvantages. Hormonal methods. Transdermal patch. 0.2 to 0.3% perfect use, 5% typical use. Advantage, easy to apply. Disadvantage, irritation at local site. Vaginal ring, 0.2 to 0.3% perfect use, 5% typical use. Advantage, easy to insert. Disadvantage, may need reminder to insert. Combination oral contraceptives, COCS, 0.2 to 0.3% perfect use, 5 to 8% typical use. Advantage, coitus independent. Disadvantage, continual cause, possible side effect of thrombolytitis. Progestin only pills, mini pills, 0.5% perfect use, 5 to 8% typical use. Advantage, coitus independent, no side effect of combination oral contraceptives. Disadvantage, continual cause. Injectable progesterone, DMPA, 0.3% perfect use, 0.3% typical use. Advantage, coitus independent, dependable for 12 weeks. Disadvantage, continual cause, continual injections. Intradermal implant, Implanon, 0.05% perfect use, 0.05% typical use. Advantage, postcoital dutching. Dutching is a washing or cleaning out the inside of the vagina with water or other mixtures of fluids. Most of Dutches are sold in stores as pre-packaged mixes of water and vinegar, baking soda, or iodine.
Fertility awareness method. Fertility awareness method are ways to track your ovulation so you can prevent pregnancy. Ovulation is the fertility awareness methods help you track your menstrual cycle so you will know when your ovaries release an egg every month. There are 3 methods to predict ovulation. First is the basal body temperature method. Second is the cervical mucus method. Third is the calendar rhythm method. In the basal body temperature method, You take your temperature in the morning every day before you get out of bed. Temperature sometimes drops just before ovulation and almost always rises and remains elevated from several days after. The basal body temperature rises in response to increased progesterone levels. Also, the basal body temperature abstains from intercourse on the day the temperature drops and for 3 days of elevated temperature. In the basal body temperature method, you will use a digital oral thermometer or one specifically designed to measure basal body temperature. Make sure you get at least 3 hours of uninterrupted sleep each night to ensure an accurate reading. Second is the cervical mucus method. The cervical mucus method assessment of cervical mucus changes that occurs during the menstrual cycle. Cervical mucus amount and character change due to influence of estrogen and progesterone. The cervical mucus abstains from intercourse from the time she first noticed clear mucus that is stretchy and slippery until 4 days after the last wet mucus. We have two different mucus. First is the estrogen dominant mucus. This is clear and stretchable and more permeable to sperm, also called spink barket. The second is the progesterone dominant mucus. This is thick and sticky, also traps sperm, making their passage more difficult. Third is the calendar rhythm method. In this method, you chart your menstrual cycle on a calendar. Based on the assumption the ovulation tends to occur about 14 days before the start of the next menstrual period. Sperm are viable for up to 7 days and ovum is viable for up to 24 hours.